right. Court is calling 2025 CR 008182 State versus Jay Taylor. Can I have parties announced?
Megan Galloway for the state.
Ferguson for defense.
And are you Mr. Taylor?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good.
All right. Did you review the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision and state's motion to supplement pending motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you the same J. David Taylor who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2025 CR 008182 for the offense of robbery on August 18th, 2025 for a period of 4 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state.
Violation of condition number 4 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant J. David Taylor did then and there fail to report supervision officer as directed for the months of November and December 2025 in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
This would be true.
And violation of condition number 4 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant J. David.
As the court reviewed his file, the tension became impossible to ignore. Years earlier, Taylor had been given a rare second chance. Probation, freedom, an opportunity most people never get twice. But according to prosecutors, he vanished. November, gone. December, missing. January, February, March, complete silence. Then came the question that froze the entire courtroom. True or not true? And without blinking, Taylor admitted everything.
Taylor did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of January, February, and March 2026 in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
This is true as well.
All right. Did you understand by pleading true to violations 4 and 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 20 years in the prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violations 4 and 4?
Yes.
Court will find 4 and 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is not, Your Honor. The state is asking that you grant the state's motion and enter an adjudication of guilt against the defendant or revoke his community supervision and supervision.
All right. And defense, what are you requesting?
We're requesting that the court follow the probation's recommendation, which is to continue him with bi-weekly reporting. It also references a mental health evaluation that was scheduled for May the 4th of 2026. Now, in conferring with my client, he has said that he doesn't see the need for that mental evaluation. As mentioned in the recommendation from probation.
This would be true. 5 simple words, but they hit like a hammer. The courtroom instantly changed. No arguments, no denial, no excuses, just raw admission. The judge leaned forward, knowing exactly what those words meant. By pleading true, Taylor had opened the door to a nightmare. 20 years behind bars, possible. $10,000 in fines, possible. And suddenly, every breath in that room felt heavier.
It says that when he was reporting, it had mentioned some mental health issues, and that's why that was scheduled. At this current time, he is saying that he has, let me back up. Bottom line is he's saying when he was in jail for about 4.5 months prior to this offense, prior to being placed on deferred adjudication. When he was released, he had lost everything, his apartment. And one of the main things that happened was that he had all of his identifying documents were gone.
So here's
and he can speak.
the big question is, why didn't he report? He's been missing since 2025. So that's the number one question.
And what I would say, Your Honor, is that I've advised him of the issues involved with you testifying at this proceeding. But would you like to further expound for the court why it is you were not reporting? Remember, this is what we've been talking about the whole time. That's what the court's going to want to know. Yes.
All right. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
J. David Taylor.
All right. Why were you not reporting?
Basically, when I got out of jail, I basically lost everything. I went through.
But then, the defense stood up. And what happened next? Nobody expected. Instead of denying the violations, they told a darker story. A story of jail, homelessness, broken identity, and survival. Taylor's attorney claimed his client didn't disappear because he wanted to. He disappeared because life completely collapsed around him. No apartment, no transportation, no phone, no documents. Even his future seemed stolen from him. And for the first time, the courtroom started listening.
An eviction, I lost the car, my phone. They basically just threw all my stuff away, my documents, school transcripts, everything I had worked for. And then I basically missed the first probation like by 3 or 4 days. So I figured they had a warrant out. So I just wanted to kind of show up to probation with a payment because I had went the first 2 or 3 months and they were requesting like $80.
All right, everyone whisper. We're on the record. I cannot hear. All right, you may continue.
I wanted to at least go to probation with a payment. It was kind of unusual not having employment, but due to not having my documents, I wasn't able to secure a job. So I know it doesn't allow a lack of accountability, but now that I do have some of my documents retrieved, like my birth certificate, I got my social, and I'm working with KRL and Courtroom Ministries. And hopefully Haven for Hope will accept me. So I'll have like a place to stay. It shouldn't be a problem in the future.
All right.
And so, Your Honor, we would ask the court to consider continuing him. He also has job prospects. He actually has a job,
Then Taylor raised his right hand and took the oath. Every eye in the courtroom locked onto him. His voice shook, but his words were sharp. He said when he got out of jail, everything was gone. His car, gone. His home, gone. His personal documents, thrown away like they meant nothing. And with no identity, he claimed he couldn't even get a job. But the biggest question still remained. Why didn't he report?
factory. And so he had issues, but we think that if the court were to continue him, that it would not be an issue moving forward, Judge. If the court is not inclined to continue him, we would ask the court to consider the minimum.
Well, no. Any questions?
I do. Okay, and so at the time that you were placed on probation, the address that you provided was that you were living at 1 Haven for Hope Way. Is that where you were living at the time?
I was at Haven for Hope. That was the last address, but this would be like 8716 Fairhaven. That was the last address for us.
So hold on. So before you went into jail, you were living at Haven for Hope?
No, I was living at Fairhaven.
At Fairhaven. And then when you were released from jail, where did you go? To Haven for Hope?
Well, I was evicted, or I didn't have that apartment anymore on Fairhaven. So I went to Haven for Hope, and they said I needed a referral to get back in since the last time I wasn't there for more than 30 days.
Okay. And then you reported to probation that you were unemployed.
Right.
Okay. So why did you report that if you had a job?
That's when the judge went on the attack. Question after question, detail after detail. Where were you living? Why didn't you call probation? Why did fear stop you from showing up? Taylor tried to explain every missing piece. He talked about shelters, bridges, hunger, and sleeping without certainty. He admitted he was scared there might already be a warrant, and the deeper the questions went, the harder his story became to defend.
I didn't have a job at the time that I was out of jail. I was in there for 4.5 months, so I didn't have employment at the time or my documents or anything.
So are you saying prior to being in custody at the jail, you had a job?
I would say I was working at the time, where I worked down on Grayson.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then you're saying you lost that job as a result of being
and being
custody.
in jail for 4 months. They said I was like no foul, no show, so they terminated me.
And then I guess just as a result of you losing your identifying documents and stuff, that's not something that you have to show to probation to report, correct?
Right.
Right. So how did that have an effect on you not?
I would say the first 2 months that showed up, they were requesting $80. I was always used to, providing and paying rent. So not having a job and then trying to reapply was difficult due to the fact that I didn't have a social, birth certificate or anything. They basically just threw all my stuff away.
Okay. And then I guess you also said
Taylor's attorney wasn't finished yet. In one final emotional argument, he begged the court for mercy. He said probation officers believed Taylor could still change. He said job opportunities were finally appearing. He said transportation had been the real enemy. He said homelessness had broken this man. And most importantly, he said prison would destroy whatever hope remained. For a moment, it almost felt convincing, but the prosecution had other plans.
that you were scared because you were a couple of days late and you didn't.
Right, the last probation date, I think around December, whenever I guess prior call to verify the date, I still kind of missed the date by like 3 days or so. So I figured they had a warrant, and I just wanted to kind of gather my documents, et cetera, and at least bring the payment.
Okay.
But-
All right, thank you. No further questions.
All right. Court will hear argument.
Judge, we're just asking for you to grant the state's motion and submit him to 6 years in prison.
Your Honor, we would ask the court to consider probation's recommendation. They know this client. They know his demeanor. They know what he has been doing. One thing that was not mentioned, he was homeless at the time, living under the bridge. Is that correct? Right. So there were some significant transportation issues. But we would ask the court to consider probation's recommendation of having him to report bi-weekly. He understands that if he were to violate again, that he is still facing a full range of punishment. If the court is not inclined to...
Then the courtroom went silent, completely silent. The judge paused, looked directly at Taylor, and made her decision. Probation, revoked. Deferred adjudication, terminated. Guilty, officially entered into the record. And then came the words Taylor feared most, 4 years in prison. In one brutal moment, every excuse, every explanation, every second chance disappeared. And just like that, Jay Taylor walked into court hoping for freedom, but left with a prison sentence.
Continue him on his probation. We would ask the court to consider the minimum here, which will be 2 years based on the actual offense, which he has yet to be adjudicated for, but that he did plead guilty to, or no contest.
All right. I never understand how someone, if you didn't report for all this time, I don't understand how, okay, we're going to make them report double means, helps with anything. I don't see that as being rehabilitation. All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to grant the state's motion, revoke, find you guilty. There's to be no contact with Erica Aguilar, no contact with the Dollar General. The court will request the therapeutic community, and the court will sentence you to 4 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. You have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on deferred adjudication. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what that is, you'll need to speak to an attorney, and I'll retain jurisdiction. All right. Thank you.